I used to believe in happily ever after. For 15 years, Emma and I built what I thought was an unbreakable bond, raising our beautiful children, Lily and Noah, in our modest suburban home. Every weekend hike, every family game night, every shared dream reinforced my belief that our love would withstand anything. Then one rainy Tuesday, I picked up her phone when mine was charging and everything changed. Those text messages revealed more than an affair. They exposed the fragile illusion our family had become. Before I tell you how my entire family was stolen from me, drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from. And hit that subscribe button if you have ever felt betrayed by someone you trusted completely. 20 years ago, I was just another engineering student surviving on ramen noodles and ambition when I met Emma in the university library. She was studying business, brilliant, and driven with auburn hair that caught the light whenever she laughed. We connected instantly over shared dreams and terrible coffee from the campus shop. Our first date lasted until sunrise, as we talked about everything from childhood memories to our wildest hopes for the future. After graduation, we moved into a tiny one-bedroom apartment with secondhand furniture and a leaky faucet we could not afford to fix. Those early years were magical despite our struggles. Emma landed an entry-level position at a marketing firm, while I began my career at a local engineering company. We saved every penny planning for the life we wanted to build together. Our wedding in 2005 was modest but perfect. We exchanged vows in her parents' backyard, with only 50 guests. I remember watching Emma walk toward me in her simple white dress, thinking I had somehow won the greatest lottery in existence. That night we danced under string lights until our feet ached, whispering promises of forever that I intended to keep with every fiber of my being. Emma always had bigger dreams than I did. While I was content with stability and small comforts, she spoke of corner offices and luxury vacations. I admired her ambition and supported every career move, even when it meant longer hours and less time together. I believed that marriages worked when partners lifted each other up, so I tried to be her biggest cheerleader, even when I missed her at dinner. Our family grew in 2006 when Lily was born. The first time I held my daughter, something fundamental shifted inside me. This tiny human with my eyes and Emma's smile became the center of my universe. I spent nights walking the floors with her when she had colic, sang terribly off-key lullabies, and documented every milestone in a journal I still keep hidden in my desk drawer. 4 years later, Noah completed our family. He was a calm baby with curious eyes who grew into a thoughtful little boy obsessed with dinosaurs and space. Our home filled with plastic toys, finger paintings on the refrigerator, and the beautiful chaos that comes with raising children. I worked overtime and took on side projects to afford the move to a suburban home with good schools and a backyard where our children could play safely. We established traditions that defined our family identity. Every Sunday morning meant pancakes shaped like animals. Summer evenings were for catching fireflies in the backyard. We took annual trips to a small beach town in Florida, where we built elaborate sandcastles and collected shells. These ordinary moments seemed insignificant then, but became precious memories I would later cling to during sleepless nights. The first changes in Emma were so subtle I barely noticed. In 2016, she joined an exclusive gym downtown, where memberships cost more than our monthly grocery budget. She claimed the networking opportunities justified the expense, and I trusted her judgment. Soon, her wardrobe began evolving from practical business attire to designer labels she insisted were necessary to impress clients. Her new friends were wives of executives and business owners who spent afternoons at country clubs discussing charity galas and private schools. When I expressed concern about our changing expenses, Emma dismissed me as close-minded. "This is how successful people live, Addison," she would say with growing impatience. "Do you want to stay middle class forever?" Her comments stung, but I convinced myself she was simply growing professionally, expanding her horizons in ways I should support rather than question. The girls' nights out became more frequent, stretching later into evenings. Business dinners multiplied on her calendar. Sometimes Lily or Noah would casually mention Mom's friend James, who drove a sports car, or brought them treats from exclusive bakeries when he met Emma for coffee. Each mention felt like a small needle piercing my confidence, but I pushed away suspicion as unworthy of our relationship. Then came the passwords. Emma had always left her phone unlocked, often asking me to check messages while she was driving. One day I picked it up, to find a numerical code required. "Just privacy," she explained with a shrug. Everyone at work does it. More concerning were the sudden hang-ups when I entered a room, the way she angled her screen away from me, while texting, and the mysterious shopping bags that appeared with items far more expensive than our budget allowed. I discovered unusual charges on our joint credit card statement dinners at restaurants. We had never visited together a hotel charge downtown on a night she claimed to be at a conference. When questioned, Emma provided explanations that seemed plausible individually, but formed a troubling pattern when viewed collectively. Still, I wanted to believe her. After 15 years and 2 children, the alternative seemed unimaginable. The truth revealed itself on an ordinary Sunday in early 2019. Emma was taking a shower before we planned to meet friends for brunch. Her phone buzzed repeatedly on the kitchen counter, texts coming in rapid succession. Concerned it might be an emergency, I glanced at the screen and saw messages from Jay that changed everything. "Last night was amazing. Cannot wait to have you in my bed again. Your husband is a fool." My hands trembled as I unlocked her phone, already knowing her password, our anniversary date. A cruel irony. Hundreds of messages detailed an affair spanning months with James Harrington, a wealthy real estate developer whose name I recognized from local business news. Photos I could never unsee. Plans made while I watched our children. Comparisons between us that cut to the core of my insecurities. I sat motionless at the kitchen table until Emma emerged with damp hair and found me holding her phone. The confrontation exploded with an intensity that frightened even me. Her initial denial crumbled under the weight of evidence. Then came blame. I worked too much. I lacked ambition. I had become boring and predictable. "James makes me feel alive," she said with a coldness I had never witnessed in her. "He shows me the life I deserve. This house, your paycheck, these limitations, this was never enough." The most devastating blow came when she compared us directly. "James built an empire, while you have been content maintaining a cubicle. He takes risks while you choose safety. Our children deserve to see what success really looks like." I later learned that Lily and Noah had overheard this entire exchange from the top of the stairs, absorbing every cruel comparison and witnessing their father standing shocked and speechless. Within weeks, Emma moved into James's downtown penthouse. We established a temporary custody arrangement where the children would spend weekdays with her and weekends with me. The first weekend, I cleaned, frantically prepared their favorite meals, and planned activities I thought would distract from our fracturing reality. Lily was 13 now, increasingly influenced by social status and peer perception. Noah, at 9, still wanted to please everyone, his emotions carefully hidden behind dinosaur facts and video games. The first canceled weekend came with excuses about a school project. The second coincided with a trip to James's lake house, where the children could jet ski and swim. By the third month, my time with them had dwindled to occasional Sunday afternoons. Each visit they arrived with stories of helicopter rides, celebrity encounters at James's parties, and shopping sprees where price tags were never considered. "Dad, James is getting me the new iPhone next week," Noah announced during one visit, examining my older model with newfound disdain. "He says everyone in business uses the latest technology. Lily stopped bringing friends to my apartment after moving out. It is just really small," she explained with the brutal honesty of teenagers. "Madison's parents would wonder why we are here instead of at Mom's house with the infinity pool." I tried competing initially, stretching my credit cards to buy experiences and gifts I could not afford. But how could movie tickets and arcade games compete with courtside basketball seats and backstage concert passes? My engineer's salary, once sufficient for our family's needs, now seemed inadequate against James's millions. Each disappointment in my children's eyes when I explained budget limitations chipped away at my relationship with them. The legal battle blindsided me with its viciousness. Emma hired a prestigious law firm while I scrambled to find representation I could afford. James remained in the background, financing everything while positioning himself as the stable father figure. Her lawyers painted me as emotionally unstable following the separation, using my desperate text messages and occasional angry outbursts as evidence I was unfit for shared custody. To cover legal fees, I took a second mortgage on our family home, only to lose it entirely in the settlement. The judge, seemingly impressed by Emma's new lifestyle and the educational opportunities available to our children through James's connections, granted her primary custody. I was allocated every other weekend and Wednesday evenings, a schedule that existed on paper but rarely materialized in reality. During custody evaluations, both children expressed preference for living with their mother. Lily testified about the private tutoring, French lessons, and social connections available at James's home. Noah spoke of the basketball court and swimming pool material comforts that seemed to outweigh memories of bedtime stories and Saturday morning pancakes with me. By 2020, my new reality consisted of a small one-bedroom apartment with pull-out sofa for the children they rarely used. Noah stopped answering my calls, too engrossed in the gaming system James had installed in his bedroom. Lily responded to texts days later with brief updates that felt like communications with a distant acquaintance rather than my daughter. My 40th birthday passed without acknowledgement from either child. Through social media, I discovered they were in Switzerland on a skiing holiday with Emma and James. The photos showed them laughing in matching designer ski wear, looking happier than I remembered seeing them in our final year together. I spent that night staring at old family albums, searching their younger faces for clues I had missed, warnings I should have heeded. The complete estrangement happened gradually, then suddenly. By 2021, scheduled visits became phone calls. Phone calls became text messages. Text messages became silence. Emma officially married James in a lavish ceremony featured in local society pages. The children served as attendants, beaming in professional photographs that cut deeper than any legal document could. My decline paralleled their ascent into privileged life. Depression affected my work performance, leading to warnings and eventually termination. Alcohol became a nightly companion that muffled pain temporarily, but amplified isolation. Friendships withered as I withdrew from social connections, unable to answer simple questions about my children without breaking down. The moment that truly broke me came through an innocuous legal notice. James had petitioned to legally adopt my children, with Emma's full support. More shocking was the attached statement from Lily and Noah, expressing their desire to share James's last name. "He has been more of a father to us," they wrote in statements clearly guided by adults. "We want to officially be part of his family." Despite fighting with every remaining resource, the adoption was granted when both children testified to their wishes. My brother Michael intervened when I hit rock bottom, finding me unshaven and surrounded by emptiness. In both my apartment and spirit, he delivered tough love through forced rehabilitation and therapy. "Your children have lost one parent already," he said while helping me pack for treatment. "Do not make it permanent." The slow climb back to functionality took months. I found a new engineering position, joined support groups for alienated parents, and established a routine that made existence bearable, if not joyful. I even attempted dating, though first date conversations inevitably revealed wounds still far from healed. Then came the social media announcement that shattered my carefully reconstructed calm. Lily, now 18, had become engaged to Tyler, the son of one of James's business associates. The photo showed her extending a hand with a diamond that represented more than my annual salary. Comments from Emma and James expressed delight at joining two wonderful families. My name appeared nowhere in the hundreds of congratulatory messages. My calls and texts to Lily went unanswered. Finally, desperate for connection to this milestone, I reached out to mutual friends who reluctantly shared details. The wedding would be held at an exclusive vineyard. James had purchased Lily's dream dress from a Parisian designer. And most painfully, James would walk her down the aisle, the role I had imagined since holding my infant daughter for the first time. The formal invitation arrived at my apartment 3 months before the wedding, addressed to the Parker family, Emma, James, and Noah, with no mention of me. A handwritten note from Emma explained, "We thought you should know, but Lily feels your presence would create tension on her special day. James has been her father in all meaningful ways for years now." That night, I wrote an emotional email to my daughter that took hours to compose. I reminded her of tiny moments from her childhood, bandaging scraped knees, building science projects until midnight, teaching her to ride a bike in endless circles until sunset. I acknowledged my failures and expressed unconditional love regardless of her decision. Her response, when it finally came, destroyed any remaining hope. "I appreciate what you did when I was little, but James has been my real dad since I needed one most. He is the one who should stand beside me at my wedding." My planned response involved crashing the ceremony, fueled by righteous anger and profound grief. What stopped me was an unexpected message from Amanda James's ex-wife before Emma. She requested a meeting at a quiet cafe outside town away from social circles that might recognize us. Amanda arrived looking nothing like the villain I had constructed in my imagination. Instead, she brought files and photographs, documenting a pattern I had failed to recognize. James had pursued her when she was married to his former business partner. After securing her affection and loyalty, he systematically alienated her from her family, using financial leverage and subtle manipulation. When her usefulness ended, she was discarded with a fraction of assets, hidden through clever accounting. He collects families like trophies, she explained, showing me photographs of previous relationships following identical patterns. The wealthy benefactor, the grateful children, the eliminated biological father. You are not the first. And Emma will not be his last conquest. More disturbing were the documents revealing James's empire was built on fraudulent investments and offshore accounts now under federal investigation. Former business partners shared stories of betrayal and financial ruin. His pattern of rescuing vulnerable women with children had left a trail of broken families and damaged lives. I sat with this information for days, contemplating my response. The temptation to expose James before the wedding was overwhelming, to warn my daughter, to reclaim my place in her life, to watch the collapse of the man who had stolen everything from me. But even imagining Lily's humiliation and pain stopped me cold. Despite everything, she remained the little girl I had sworn to protect. Instead, I wrote her a different letter. This one contained no accusations or bitterness, just memories and love. With it, I sent a simple gold locket containing a photograph of us from her first birthday, her tiny hand wrapped around my finger as she reached for cake. I asked nothing in return except her happiness, even if that path excluded me. Concurrent with this decision came other changes. I committed fully to therapy, addressing not just the loss of my family, but patterns of passivity that had characterized my marriage. I reconnected with old friends and made new ones through volunteer work. And I met Kate, a divorced art teacher who valued character and kindness over status and wealth. The wedding day arrived with June sunshine that seemed cruelly perfect. Though I respected Lily's wishes by staying away from the ceremony, I parked near the venue, unable to be entirely absent on such a momentous day. Unexpectedly, Noah approached my car dressed in his formal suit, but with eyes reflecting confusion beyond his 14 years. "I thought you might be here," he said, sliding into the passenger seat. "Lily said you would not come." I wanted to respect her wishes, I replied carefully, but I needed to be close somehow. Noah fidgeted with his tie, custom-made to match the wedding colors. "James has been different lately. After the engagement, he started fighting with Mom about money. He yelled at Lily for choosing flowers that were too expensive." He looked up with eyes suddenly vulnerable. "Did he ever get angry like that before when you knew him?" This simple question revealed cracks in the perfect facade. I chose my words carefully, refusing to weaponize my son's emerging doubts. "People are complicated, Noah. Sometimes stress brings out different sides of us." We talked for 30 minutes about normal things: his interest in astronomy, a science competition he had entered, his nervousness about high school next year. As he prepared to return to the wedding, he hesitated, then pulled something from his pocket. "I found this in Mom's closet. I thought maybe you should have it." He handed me a faded photograph of the four of us at the beach sandcastles and sunburned noses preserved from happier times. More surprising was his next gesture, taking the letter and locket I had sent Lily. She threw it away without opening it. I rescued it from the trash. I will make sure she gets it today, when she might actually read it. After the wedding, silence resumed, until a text arrived from an unknown number. While I was having dinner with Kate, 3 weeks later, I wore the locket under my dress. "Thank you, L." No further explanation, but those 8 words represented the first independent contact from my daughter in years. 2 weeks later, another message. "Would you want to get coffee sometime? Just to talk." We met at a neutral location, the conversation stilted and painful, but punctuated with moments of genuine connection. She asked about my parents, her grandparents, who had passed away years before she was born. For the first time, she seemed interested in her roots beyond the glossy life James had provided. Noah began visiting my apartment occasionally, first with transparent excuses about being in the neighborhood, later with open admissions of wanting to see me. He confided that James's business was experiencing complications that had changed the atmosphere at home. Expensive vacations had been canceled, tutors dismissed, and arguments about money echoed through the penthouse at night. Even Emma reached out initially with practical questions about Noah's childhood medical history, later with thinly veiled comments about the challenges of her current marriage. I maintained firm boundaries, unwilling to become entangled in the collapse of her second family, while still healing from the destruction of our first. The most meaningful shift came 6 months after the wedding, when Lily called in tears after an argument with her new husband. Instead of offering solutions or judgments, I simply listened. A skill therapy had strengthened. "You never tried to make me be someone else," she said before hanging up. I miss that more than I can explain. These fragile reconnections did not erase years of absence or heal all wounds. There were still canceled plans, painful reminders of missed milestones, and moments when the grief felt as fresh as the day Emma first left. But gradually, authenticity replaced performance in our interactions. My children began to see me as a person rather than a symbol of the life they had left behind. The most valuable lesson emerged from this painful journey. True wealth exists in relationships built on acceptance rather than expectation. Material success had seduced my children temporarily, but authenticity ultimately held greater value. The father who could buy anything proved less enduring than the father who offered unconditional love. Today, I live in a modest home with Kate, who understands that my heart will always reserve space for the family I lost and am slowly reclaiming. Noah stays with us every other weekend, by his choice filling the house with teenage energy and astronomical theories. Lily visits less frequently, but calls regularly, especially when facing challenges in her marriage that require wisdom rather than wealth. I harbor no illusions about fully restoring what was broken. Emma remains distant, caught in a life increasingly revealing its hollow center. James's financial empire continues its slow collapse, each setback exposing foundations built on deception. I take no pleasure in their struggles, but recognize the painful lessons they provide my children about distinguishing substance from appearance. Most importantly, I have reclaimed my identity beyond husband and father. The man who nearly drowned in grief now helps other alienated parents navigate similar journeys. The engineer who lost his passion has found renewed purpose in mentoring young professionals. The broken heart has healed into something stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than before. If you have experienced family alienation or betrayal, know that surviving intact remains possible even when the pain suggests otherwise. The journey requires releasing the fantasy of perfect restoration while remaining open to unexpected healing. Have you ever had to rebuild a relationship you thought was permanently lost? Share your story in the comments below. And if this journey resonated with you, please subscribe and hit the like button to help others find hope in their darkest moments. Thank you for witnessing my story. Your presence makes the telling worthwhile.